You'd be like, and she said multiple personalities.
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody, we are live. We are back. Yes, we have not been on.
We're live. Oh, geez, we haven't done it for so long. I forgot what it's like.
I know.
Here
I
you go.
know.
Hey,
We've
guys.
been gone. I don't even know how long we've been gone for.
2 months at least.
Really? Oh, my goodness. Well, we apologize for that. And we really won't be even getting an even keel back on schedule until after the Gettysburg
September?
Bash.
November?
No, the end of July. From the end of July, we are, every week we've got our guest booked. We've got all the things going on. Next week, we are going to be just me and Mama D. We're going to be catching up on a lot of things. We'll be telling you what's been going on. We're going to have some cool, things to show you and whatnot, and maybe pull a couple of cards even for you. We might do stuff like that next week on Thursday. The following week on the 11th, I'm going to have Pam and Steve Barry. We're going to be talking about the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which will be that following weekend. So that's the 15th, 16th, 17th, which again, I will be speaking at this time, not paranormal, about podcasting. So that's going to be fun. And I believe I'm speaking on Saturday. I think.
Okay, excuse me. Just one moment, please. You're going to be speaking about podcasting, doing shows, and I'm not there? Okay.
Well, I might just
like,
Skype you in.
it's just, you're going to be talking about me, will you? Okay, gotcha.
I could very well talk about you. But tonight I haven't had her on for a while. I mean, Chris and I on Second Sight used to have her on actually often. She's brilliant. She is just, she does so much. And honest to God, I got a video, okay, that will it's just the tip of the iceberg of the things that this woman has written. She's done movies. She writes books. She writes articles. She's been on like Ancient Aliens and like on all kinds of things. And she does so much.
Wait, you want to know the best thing about her, people? She's a redhead. There we go.
she's a medical intuitive. She's everything. She's everything. And she's a teacher and she's a PhD. And let me show you the video and get her on here.
Exactly. Let's do it.
This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Dr. Rita Louise. She is a best-selling author and the founder of Institute of Applied Energetics and former host of Just Energy Radio. She is the author of the books The Dysfunctional Dance of the Empath and Narcissist, Stepping Out of Eden, E.T. Chronicles, What Myth and Legend Have to Say About Human Origin, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4, Dark Angels, An Insider's Guide to Ghosts, Spirits, and Attached Entities, The Power Within, a Psychic Healing Primer, as well as hundreds of articles that have been published worldwide. She is the producer of a number of full-length and feature videos. Dr. Rita has appeared on film, radio, television, and has spoken at conferences around the world covering topics such as health and healing, relationships, ghosts, intuition, ancient mysteries, and the paranormal. And we welcome you to the Fox Den, Dr. Rita. Hey. I'm so glad.
Doesn't she look like a redhead in this? You may not be a redhead, but in this shot, you look like a redhead. So I'm just pulling you in for tonight.
Yeah, she's more brunette.
I'm not alone.
Like Auburn. But she, like I said, that video, seriously, it's like taking her bio that could be 5 pages and putting it into a paragraph.
And that's only the stuff that I published. It doesn't include like doing my own web pages and fighting with GoDaddy and doing sheetrock work and fixing my own freaking plumbing and whatever.
Okay,
and that's why I love you.
You're a woman, and we can do so many things. We're multi-talented.
Yeah. Well, my dad always said, my poor, God rest your soul, Dad, I'm sorry. But my dad always said, if someone else can do it, so can you. And that's how I live my life. And that's why I did carpentry.
Does it better.
So many years and whatnot. Hi, Colette. Yes, yes, tonight. She said, did we have a show tonight? I'm like, yes, we're having a show tonight. And now you have, all right, since the last time we had you on, we talked about the dysfunctional dance
of the empath and narcissist. Correct.
Yes. And now you're writing another book that's like almost done. You sent me a few excerpts of that book, and that you said, don't judge me, blah, blah, blah. And it was like fabulous. It was fabulous what you sent me. But it was like so much information packed into yes. You know what I mean? It was like so much information. I'm like, oof, I can't even.
That's how I fly.
I know.
There you go.
That's what I mean. You're like, so your mind, you're brilliant. You are just.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
And you help a lot of people. And thank you for being with us tonight, because tonight you would have been already live at 7 o'clock. So
can I say hello to my peeps?
Yes,
so, hey everybody, YouTube, Facebook. Sorry we're not having a live tonight, but I'm here, and I'm sure if you ask a question, okay, not about dead people, I mean, unless they want to answer it, and not about predicting the future. But after that, you know me, I'm always game. So.
We're not difficult.
Are you difficult? Are you
me?
You difficult?
Me? Difficult? Oh yeah.
Oh please. But tell us about, well, first of all, because if they don't know, do a little recap about what the dysfunctional dance between the empath and narcissist is about.
Sure. So, well, and it's really funny, and I was sharing with you just before the show. I was dating this guy, and we split up. Right, I moved his stuff out, and and I was kind of working on my healing and watching a bunch of videos, just to kind of work through my emotions. And I came to realize that almost all of my relationships, and not just romantic ones, were with people that were narcissistic or were very self-serving. And it set me on this whole journey into understanding narcissism and why people, and it's usually people that are sensitive to energy, the empath, end up being like a moth to fire, and you keep attracting them, but why do you let them hang around, And the conclusion I came to was that there is early childhood programming that happens, many times through trauma, especially the empaths. There's usually trauma, which is what opens them up to sensing the energy. I mean, you have, 18 years of going, oh no, daddy's home, but I'm still in my room, and where's his vibe? Can I come out? And
so true.
And it is true. And, so just really looking at yourself, looking at what you brought to the table in the dynamic, because it is a dance. They're not the only ones that brought some kind of dysfunction to it.
Exactly. I know. And it is that it's like a magnetic force that brings the empath and the narcissistic, together anyway. It's like they seek each other out for whatever reason, and
I don't know that the empaths seek them out, but the
narcissists, though, they know.
Get sucked in.
They know. They're like, oh yeah, this is like, they try to be oblivious, but I swear to God, they absolutely know exactly what they're doing. They're like, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think they do.
I think they do, because of their trauma. It's like they like the attention. They like the love bombing. It makes them feel good, but they don't realize that there are all these strings attached, and then they might have other issues. They might have codependency issues. They might have an attachment disorder. There's so much stuff that goes into this mix of why you stay. But, also, if you're a wounded empath, you have no boundaries. You tend to just be that nice person that thinks everybody's nice and they're going to treat me nice. I treat you nice, you treat me nice. It's kumbaya until you find out that,
Yeah,
your
that's not the
life has
case.
been sucked away.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, you might as well put a big thing right here and say, I am a doormat.
Here, wait.
Yeah.
All right, so this is for my podcast, but I'm just going to get it anyway.
Not.
Oh, that's too funny. So Ziggy says, empath here, have no idea if I'm moving in the right direction or nor doing a good job with my life at all. Silly question.
It's not a silly
Okay,
question. And
so,
yes, you are.
hey, guess who's here? Chris George.
Oh, look.
Hey, Chris.
Pookie.
Hey, Pookie.
Hey,
She reached
gorgeous.
out to you and you did not
Taryn.
respond. Hey, Taryn.
gorgeous.
Love you, love you, love you, love you. Yep. So, okay. So here you go. So this is one of your people, I would imagine. So I think she's
Not a name I recognize, but I'm game.
She's on your
No.
web. She's on your YouTube.
Yeah, she's on your
okay.
YouTube because she said, nice to meet us.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something that you can
So
answer,
Ziggy-
whether empathically, intuitively.
So Ziggy, I feel like one of the things you're really working on, and I applaud you for this, is really going in and starting to pay attention to what's going on inside and evaluating, what's going on with you and how you got into the whole situation. So I feel like you're in a really big learning curve right now, which is great because you can't heal, you can't move forward unless you do the work. And it's kind of ugly work and it can be kind of painful work. But if you do the work, you come out the other end in a much better place.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, she's right on there. Hi, Carmen. Very nice to see you guys. I know we're back. It feels really good to be back. And yeah, Richard. With all the stress I've been going through lately, it's just been one of my little ticks that I do. It's
that's what happens when you disappear from me. You get a little bit
I either cut my hair or I clean, and my house is filthy. So,
and as you'll notice, her hair is shorter.
Hi, Bob. That's my baby right there. Hi. So if anybody has a question for Rita, and she is like a medical intuitive, that type of thing.
Help people with trauma.
Not dead people, not mediumship tonight. Okay, none of that kind of stuff.
No dead people. The dead people can stay at your house. That's my rule. They stay at your house. Don't come to mine.
Right.
And I don't predict the future. So it has to be like a real question about something.
Something that you're doing, just like that, like, what's going on in your life. And then in the new book, though, that you're writing, is like you're taking this book, this dance between the empath and the narcissist, and you're going to the next level. So
so got rid of that guy, wrote the dysfunctional dance, met somebody new, thought it was way better, and actually his name is in that book, and the chapter ends with me meeting him and a message of hope, only to start the new book. It's like, okay, well, I made a mistake. I obviously didn't learn all of my lessons. And so my working title was Transcending the Dysfunctional Dance. But then I was talking to my sister, and she was like, I was like, yes, so I'm trying to come up with a name. And she said, well, you should call it It's All About Me. And I think that it was just one of those just like channeled kind of moments, because that name
it's really sticking. Yeah.
It's really, and then with the subtitle, Transcending the Dysfunctional Dance of the Empath and Narcissist.
Yeah.
So then it ties them together, because this book is all about looking inside and evaluating your inner mental state and your inner emotional state, where the other book was looking at what's going on out there and kind of my history, but doesn't really say, okay, I just had this interaction with someone and now I feel like crap. Yeah. But I got to forgive them and go back, and
over and over.
Over and over. Because many times, wounded individuals never take themselves into consideration. And so like the key paragraph in this book that I just kind of wrote this past week, is all about boundaries, because usually that's the issue, is that they have no boundaries. And I have to tell you, and I'm just going to backtrack on myself, I always thought boundaries was this weird thing, like you come up with some rule, like don't leave your socks on the table, and then they do it, and you have to like be mean to them, and then like to really enforce it, you kick them out. And I could never wrap my mind around it at all. I mean, it always just seemed very random.
Yep.
However, if you take the approach of, but what about me?
Yep.
How does that make me feel? And okay, this is what you want to do, but what about me? And putting yourself into the equation, because people that don't have boundaries never ask that question, ever.
Yep. You're right. There you go. Hi, Ashley. Long time no see. But that is so true. I mean, this whole relationship back and forth thing, though, too. It's, how do I even put that? God, I just don't even. To make you feel like you owe them, doing this, like they feel so bad that you should feel as bad as they do because you didn't say, I love you in the morning. You know what I mean? And it ruined my whole day. So your day should be ruined. And then they'll make it ruined for you,
But when that happens, but think about the dynamics. So they're like, rah, 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 making you feel guilty, shaming you, whatever. And inside of you, you're like, oh, what do I need to do? Oh my God, they're mad at me. How can I make them happy again? Versus, wait a minute, I feel like crap inside, and your voicing that is leaving me feel this way. Kind of like, I would say a choice word, but you, blank you.
I say it all the time.
Gina's favorite word. She won't say it because she's building me a castle with all of with my swear jars.
I have a swear jar. It's this big. Right, hers, right, but hers, she's got like.
Yeah, because when I swear, I always say sorry.
Kind of like karma. It is kind of like karma. You think things might go around. You would hope that the way some people treat people, that the karma will get them. Like we pray for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But here you go. It's like, all right, well, why are we praying for that? Why don't we fix that? All right, why don't we change that and get out of that relationship, and or try to send that person to counseling, the one that's making you feel like you have to go to counseling.
But if somebody's a narcissist, there's not anything wrong with them. So why would they possibly need counseling?
I know, life is wonderful if you do it my way.
So the guy that I got rid of before this book, that was the other book, he took a copy of The Dysfunctional Dance with him when he left, because he went to go find himself, a typical narcissist exit strategy line. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, he drove off with his RV, and I started packing his stuff up because I already knew. I wrote the freaking book, I already knew.
There you go.
And he was telling me, he goes, well, I read that book and I think I'm okay. And I'm like, not so much.
No, not so much. Yeah, no.
Just come get your stuff.
Oh my God, I love it. Hold on a second here. We're good. We're good. We're
behaving.
Very, very busy. But good. Laurel, Carmen says, I've heard a lot of excuses during my relationships. I'm good on being single. But you know what? You don't have to be single. That's the thing. There are good, decent people out in the world.
I don't know. I haven't ever met any. All right, I haven't ever dated any. How's that? Well, I can't.
I know they're like your friends, right? The good friends, you know, and then
Yeah.
you never want to ruin the friends thing by dating. So, you know,
That or they belong to somebody else and have sexy legs. Oops, sorry, Bob.
uh, yep, Bob's taken.
I know, I know.
Yeah, I know. I found a couple in my lifetime that are very very good. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Bob,
mean, my
to death, you've got your moments. I love you.
everybody does. I mean, I've been married for 30 some odd years now. Must be how long. And we have our moments. And I love it when the young ones where I used to work in a convenience store, and the young ones would come in one day, oh my God, I'm in love. He's that perfect. And 2 weeks later, I hate his guts. It's like it's not an easy road. It's something that has to be worked with. And there are, the yin and the yang of the personalities. There will be days where Gina wants to put her hands around Bob's throat, and I think he's peaches and cream.
Yep, I know. Exactly. Well, that's it. You know, men and women are different. Men and
Yep.
women, they are. I mean, we use two sides of the brain. They use one, and another
But
one.
they have two brains.
But
Yep.
exactly. So, you know, it's like which brain is ruling you today. All right.
Exactly.
But you know, that's just the way it is. That's the way, you know.
But it really, to me, comes down to finding common ground. It comes to negotiating. It comes to talking things out. And if you're with a narcissistic or self-centered person, it really becomes around, but this is what I want,
I love
and
him.
this is what I want, and you have to conform to my will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we I think, you know, like we've worked on things and stuff, and yeah, it's not been easy, you know, especially like, you know, we at our age too, you know, in a new relationship, you come with baggage, you know, there's
Yeah.
like there's no way to not, and then your baggage could be a problem because, you know, you think that this the way that everybody's going to be, and that's not the case, you know, or you know, in I know you're watching, Bob, but you think that I think something that I would never in a million years ever even come to me. You know, even when you tell me, I'm so shocked that you would think that I would think that. You know what I mean? Or say something, and it's like never, never. You know, and then where that comes from, I don't know, but I know other people say the same thing. You know, like they'll be like, well, they're thinking that you're doing this or whatever. And it's like, yeah, thinking, but, you know, are they actually doing those things? No, they're not. But that will plague the mind of the person thinking that you're thinking that. You know what
And see, and that's one of the topics that I cover in this new book is really about our thoughts and our thought processes, because that's part of our inner world. All
Yeah.
right, I have to write this down because I'm going to go somewhere else first. Did you know that 80% of our thinking is negative? 80%.
oh my God. Well,
You know,
that's horrible.
and
Well, that's it. I'm not listening to this show.
you know,
Right
and
there.
so, we wonder why people walk around and they're not happy and they're not filled with joy and they aren't uplifted. And there are people that, work on gratitude and they say thank you and they look for the good things that are going on in life. But the vast majority of people just walk around, wondering what's going to happen and thinking, they're fat or they got bad hair or, these terrible, terrible things about themselves.
Right.
But then there are the stories that people carry that are that take a situation, that take one little teeny nugget of fact and add all of this stuff to it that
Mm.
they make up in their own mind. And since we have 80% negative thinking, what we're making up in our own mind is usually going to be a negative thought attached to this little tidbit of factual information. So your husband doesn't call you when he's supposed to. And so the first thing you're thinking is like, oh my God, where is he? Is he with another woman? Is he out drinking? You think all those terrible things versus he went to
Is
the
he in an
supermarket and he
accident?
was a 5,000 shopper and they like did balloons and he's going to get a check for $25,000. We never think that. Never. Ever.
My
No.
husband usually thinks I'm just running off my face with people, and I'm not. I'm just waiting in line. I'm just patient. I have no stress. But yeah, no, it's. I agree. There are things that we sit there and go, "Oh my God, he's late. Like, what's happening? What's wrong?" And it's like, where is he? And who's he talking to? And so yeah. But as 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 happy as a personality that I am, I don't know if it's 80% negative, but I do agree there's a lot of negative thoughts that go through my brain that I have to physically sit there and go like, Darlene, stop doing that.
Mhm.
Stop thinking like that. And it's
I'll
yeah.
do that. I will run. I will do be like, make that snowball into, the huge thing. I will do that. And I'll try to catch myself too, like I'll even start saying things out loud like Jesus Christ, can't do it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, stop,
Yeah.
stop. And then I got to try to think of gratitude. It's like the one thing that always pulls me out is a gratitude list. Always,
Mhm.
it's always.
Yeah.
But I want to say though, the little snippet that you sent me, and you talk about the concept of emotional addiction. I freaking love that. I freaking love that because that's this totally. So can you explain that, please?
Okay. And so I don't have my notes in front of me, so I'm just going to kind of wing it, but so this shows up primarily in, I'll say, narcissistic relationships. And so when somebody enters into a relationship, and I'm going to say with a narcissist because that seems to be the most typical, it's one of the things they do is they do love bombing and they like say all these really super nice things to you and you get along really good and you think you met your soulmate because you're just clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. And so they use that to kind of suck you into their little dastardly web.
Mhm.
But it
Yesterday.
is
Dun, dun,
dastardly.
dun.
Uh, and once you're there, something will always happen down the road, within several months that you question them. You make some comment and the mask starts to break
Yeah.
and you start moving into the devaluation phase where once you walked on water and you know all this great stuff and now maybe you're not so good and it can go downhill from
The
there.
honeymoon
The
phase.
honeymoon is
Yeah.
definitely over.
Yeah.
So when you're in that love bombing stage, your body is releasing hormones like dopamine that and serotonin that feel good to the body that make us want to connect with people and be intimate with them. And because it's so much and so intense, we're like getting these dopamine rushes. We're literally getting high on feel good hormones.
Mm-hmm.
But then things shift and they aren't so good and they make that snide comment like you're going to wear that dress again
Mhm.
and your heart goes oh and it just drops into your stomach and you're not releasing those feel good hormones anymore. Now you're releasing things like cortisol, but you had this emotional high and now you're having a crash land dump, just a dump. And so
But like any other addict, you're going to try to chase that high.
right. And so then it's kind of like, all you want to do is to not feel that way,
Mhm.
and not feel that way. So, you go be nice to them, you kind of wait it out because the good was so good, that you'll tolerate the really crappy waiting for that high again. And that cycle keeps happening and happening, but it starts off in small ways. They make that little snide comment, then it just gets bigger and bigger the intensity of what they'll do or what they try to get away with. But by that point in time, you are so addicted to that roller coaster of highs and lows that it is really hard to get out of and get rid of.
Mhm.
And so they say that, breaking an emotional addiction is harder than putting a heroin addiction because the
Yeah.
high is just so much. And so when people end a toxic relationship, it tends to be very hard. Oh, so when it gets really bad, let's put the really bad little qualifier. So let's say it's really bad and you're in an abusive relationship, and they're beating you. I mean, to me, like that, it's bad enough you're yelling at me, lay
Right.
a hand on me. That to me is the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
But okay, so they beat the crap out of you. And then, the next day, the next morning, they're like, oh, I love you. I didn't mean to beat the crap out of you and leave bruises all over your body or break your
Or
arm.
break a bone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, so just forgive me. I won't do it again. And when they do that, your dopamine and your serotonin go wing, and you are high again. And then you forgive them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they play on the whole idea of hope. They give you hope that it's going to be
Or
different.
you can change them. Your love is going to change them. You're the one that's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, and so people think that people, I'll say women, that are in, really abusive relationships. I mean, we think, physical abuse is a really abusive relationship. Go back because there's some desire to be with this person, but I think there's an underlying chemical thing going on with them
Yeah.
that makes it just really hard to go. I mean, there really is a chemistry that they're addicted to.
Yeah. But I mean, an addictive personality is an addictive personality. I mean, no matter what it is,
Yep.
Ice cream. You like ice cream? You're going to be addicted to ice cream. You're going to have it every time, right? You want it, right? The same thing, anything that you bring into your life, whether, usually it's the drugs and the alcohol and things like that, but that aside, no additional chemicals. It's just your body chemistry that you like it, you have to have it, I mean, it can be anything,
But
anything.
see, I would kind of maybe not 100% agree with you. I mean, I hear you about the emotion, the addiction part, which definitely plays a piece of it. But it would be like, and I know you're still going to get this, you get up in the morning and you can't have a cup of coffee. That. It's that.
That.
But it's that,
Yeah.
and you're like, I'm going to kill somebody now.
That's
You
Yep.
know, that's more the
That is
level
it.
of, but that's more
That
the
is
level of addiction that I feel these people have versus, I'm not going to have a cookie.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just using that as like an example of an addictive personality. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe with addictive personalities fall into this category more so than maybe someone that doesn't have
Right.
addictive. Like
Right.
they can go out and just have a couple drinks and be fine. And there's the addictive personality person that just can't, you know. And and this person could have casual relationships, but this addictive personality can't.
Can.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was my point. It wasn't just
But
that.
see, that I get that point.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, coffee. Oh, don't take my coffee away. No, that would not be prudent.
But when you
Not
look
if you
at
want to
it
live.
from that biochemistry perspective, like you can't have that cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, that's kind of emotionally devastating.
It is. Do you know that's the best part of my day because Bob gets up for work, he brings me coffee and puts it on my nightstand. So when I wake up, I have coffee there, and it's just like,
And it's no small mug
of
either. It's a giant
it's a giant.
jug.
But it is. It's like a giant ray of sunshine. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining. If you guys have any questions for Dr. Rita about anything, let
Yeah.
her. Right? She's
Except dead people.
Yeah, no dead, not dead people.
No dead people.
No.
Nope. And no future.
Situational, relationships, or and we can even talk paranormal. I mean, but we are talking about this this upcoming book, and I can't wait to get this book.
So what do you think about that title?
I like
It's
that.
all about me.
I like it's good.
It's perfect. Perfect.
I want to like put Toby Keith, you know, like I want to talk about me, you know, it's part of like the
I was gonna get a little snippet of the song, but then I don't want the show banned because of the song.
Mhm.
You know.
Very true.
But yeah, that's perfect. That's the perfect song. You know, it's like you should, I don't know, reference that somewhere in the book. But
well, I'm thinking about, you know, like, cause I always have a quote at the top of every new chapter. And I think that might be like, you know, the intro quote, because really, you know, with some narcissists, that's really how it is. It's kind of like, okay, well, you know, you've just talked for the last 12 hours. Can I like throw something in there? Maybe.
right.
Yeah.
It's like your life is so bad. Well, what about the person that's sharing it with you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think this one's peaches and cream over here? We're in the same house.
Yep. It's like when my husband says, "Oh, you're crazy." I was like, "Who's crazier, me or the one who married me?" Yeah. It's like,
Oh, I don't like being called crazy. Like,
I just say I'm not crazy. I'm just weird, and I
oh, but
totally
I
own
admit
that.
to being crazy to a certain extent.
I can show you crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a redhead. You want to see crazy? We'll show you crazy.
Oh my god, my kids were so little. This just reminded me of this. They were little. They were like, I don't know, 6, 4. Right? We're driving down the street. We drive by a store, and it's a basket case. Is the name of it. And I said, oh, look it, a basket case. And you know, my daughter Jessie's like, oh, can we go in there? It's like a flower place or something. And I'm like, you want to see a basket case? I'll show you a basket case. And I was like, so I'm driving,
There you go.
and they were just like,
Like, what the
But
hell,
you
Mom?
don't do that.
I said, you want to go in there?
It's like, Mom, not in public. There you go.
Oh god. Well, it just reminded me of that. I totally forgot about that until just now. So, you know, hey, the brain works.
Good.
Right? Because that was many, many, many moons ago. Yeah, but you know what I did? I was like, I was circling some different things in here too. Oh yeah, you were just talking about the abuse thing. Oh, you bring up Edgar Tolle too.
Oh, where he talks about the pain body.
In the newer, yeah, phenomena called the pain body, and contends that the pain body feeds off our negative thought, and there's, I can't read because I don't have my glasses on. Here we go. Well, you know it, right? You wrote it.
That was like several chapters back.
Once it's down on paper, she can remember it.
Discusses the
It's
phenomenon
like doing
of
readings.
the pain body. He contends that the pain body feeds off of our negative thought and their associated emotional responses. Just like the alcoholic who needs one more drink and then another to feel good, you can start to crave your negative emotions. Crave them.
Well,
That's
you know, I have a little bit of an issue with his description, you know, in reading it. However, I was able to look at my life and go, oh, yeah, I must have a really big pain body, you know, which is so much better. You know, so when you're having those moments where something happened and it could just be innocuous, and you find yourself ruminating about it, where you're thinking about that situation over and over, maybe I should have done this, or maybe I should have done that, or you're worrying about something. It's like, well, what about this? Well, what if this happened? What about this? It's like you are creating this energetic dynamic within yourself, and his contention is that you get used to it, and perhaps you create situations in your life so that you can have that experience and defeat it.
there's a lot of people that I know that love this negative stuff. It's like there can be so many good things going on in their life, and yet it's still, oh, woe is me. oh, this happened, oh, that happened, oh, I
Yeah.
feel like this, and oh, I have to do that, and oh, wah, 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 wah.
Hmm.
And it's draining, and I swear it doesn't help for your health at all.
Nope.
My friend, may God rest her soul, again, Kathy, she was like this, all her family was fabulous. They were all upbeat and everything. Of course, she's my friend, and I tried to help her forever. But she was so sick, just so sick all the time. And she had so many different types of cancers, and it finally did get her, you know. But it's like she was always gloom and doom. And she did get into the relationship, the very abusive relationship. Like she jumped out a second story window to save her life from the sky. I'm like, that is
Wow.
insanity.
That is.
And she went back. I said, that is even more insanity. I think she broke her ankle at that point, and I'm just like,
Damn.
what the hell? Think of what you just told me. You told me you jumped out a window. It's a second story window. Okay? Does that click? Does that, ring any bells for you? That this is not the right relationship. I mean, it took a long time for her to get out of that,
Hmm.
and then she got into another not so great relationship. Didn't end up well, but she did have a daughter. She lived her life for her daughter. Now her daughter ended up ODing, and she passed away while she was sick. She was like hanging on. I would think it was the only thing keeping her alive. And after she
That's sad.
passed, she passed. She felt like she had nothing left to live for. And that is just so sad. But that is like all of these things in that, in a nutshell. And I just, no matter what I did or what I said, and I couldn't hang around with her all the time because it does it, like it wears on you.
Mm.
Well, I mean, it's an energy drain,
Yeah, it's like,
and you're not being fed. I mean, you're just being fed negative. You're not being fed anything good or positive or uplifting. So I'm sure you know this word, but kvetching. It's a Yiddish word that means bitching. And
Correct.
so,
Mhm.
there's a chapter that's called "Quit the Kvetching," and but there are a lot of people that never can see the good in anything. And again, it goes with that whole 80% negative thinking. And I tell the story about my dad because he was a professional kvetcher. And he and my mom went to a family friend's wedding. So this is when I still lived in New York. And so this is how the story went. And I'm telling you like all I know of this whole story, which is not much. So they went there, and there was a four-piece orchestra playing while they had lobster thermidor for dinner. Then there was a live band that played for dancing, at during the reception part and whatever. And so I was like, "So what did you think? What did you think of it?" He goes, "The food was cold,"
Wow.
and
wow,
that was it. That was it. Oh, and they paid like $40,000 for this thing.
wow.
But the family was like the wife's family was connected, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't really all that surprising. Um, but that those were his comments. The food was cold, and it cost a lot of money, and
Mm,
not like they had it was a nice setup. The music was good, you know. And there are a lot of people that is their outlook. They only look at the negative part. They never have moments where they're thankful. They never practice gratitude. So there could be something great. You could win the lottery and go, yeah, but I couldn't get a parking ticket when I went to go collect my money. And that might be like your only good, the only thing that you take away from it. Or, the government took 40%. It's like, yeah, but you walked
you
away
didn't
with like
have,
Yeah,
yeah,
you walked
$1
away with
million
60.
dollars.
you didn't
Yeah.
have that to begin with. What the heck? Even if it comes down to a dollar, it's a dollar better than you were before.
But again, they don't see the part that they gain. They don't see the good part. They just see the negative aspect of what's going on. And so there are a lot of people that kvetch all the time.
Mhm.
Right? All the time. All the time. Yep. I used to have clients. I used to go in and be like, "Ugh." I did everything under the sun pretty much except for dancing. to cheer these people up. You know what I mean? I'm just like, and this one old grumpy guy, you know, his wife Arlene was like, "You'll never get him to smile or anything like that." I said, "Oh yeah, watch me." He just
Yeah.
watched me. And you know, he tried to fight it. He tried to fight it, you know, and you could see him smirking a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I see you, I see you, you know. And we ended up having the best relationship, you know, like the three of us, you know what I mean? Like, and then he was looking forward to me coming, and then he wanted me to sit down and eat bagels with him, and you know, come and have I want you to have French toast. I want you to have this. I want you to, I'm like, no, I'm here to work. I'm not here to, you know, eat. No, just you sit down now. You sit down. Now I'm like, all right, well, I created this monster. Now I got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
I
have
would
to
sit
feed
down,
it.
I'd say, all right, I'll have a bagel. You know, I eat a half.
You know, but you can even get through to those grumpy people. So I worked at
Mm,
Starbucks a number of years ago, and I did the early morning shift, so I would get all the
that's a fun
commuters,
one.
Yeah, everybody coming in
and
their first coffee.
it was okay. And so there was this guy, and I don't remember his name, but he was this grumpy old man, and he
Mm.
would come in grande black and bold, and and he came in every morning, and I would just give him a bad time every day. And so they would have like samples of frappuccinos and samples of this, and I'm like, here, you need to have some. He would only take it if I gave it to him, and not that he would willingly take it, even though you knew he liked it, but he
Mm,
would take it because I was like, no, you have to do it. So so he obviously was taking some kind of blood thinner because he would always have those like red
Oh
splotches
yeah.
on him. And he came in one, and he would always come in and like have like little cuts and stuff. And so one day so I was prepared. So one day he came in and he had a cut on his hand and with like a little oozy. And I said, you know what? Let me go get you a Band-Aid. I got him a Hello Kitty Band-Aid, put it on him,
Yay!
and
Oh my
and he
god.
just looked at me like, "Hello Kitty," and I was like, "What? You don't like it?" I know in my heart he
He
wore that
liked it
freaking Band-Aid all
all
day
day.
long.
oh
All
yeah. Oh
day.
yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
I used to work at a fruit stand. We had the grumpy people too. We had this like, you know, and we worked our asses off in there. I'll tell you, you know, but it was in great shape. But it was real people oriented, you know. And this guy would come in, you know, roly poly old Italian, and he's got big cigar hanging out of his mouth, you know, all the time. And he'd be like, "I want power pepper." I'm like, "You want a what?" I know exactly what he's saying. He wants a pound of peppers. He gets a pound of peppers every freaking Sunday morning, right? I'm like, you want a what? You want what? What? What do you want? Like, take the damn thing out of your mouth and talk to me. And
Yep.
then he'd start laughing. But he was really grumpy, and then he ended up loving me an angel, you know, as we ended up taking the place over, you know. Isn't that like, you know, par for the course, right? But
Mhm.
but we did. And we had such a ball with all our people. You know, our regulars would come in, and they just loved it. They loved it because they had a great time. You know, even if they had to wait in big lines, you know, would make it all entertaining. You know, the whole time because we talked with everybody. You know, and not talk to hold up the line. You know what I mean? Like we'd speed up the line if they were like hemming and
Yeah.
hawing. I'd be like, hey, if you're not going to tell me what you want real quick, I said, I got your list going right here. I'm going to have to start with this one. You know, and you know things like that they'd understand, you know, because I'm like, you
Mhm.
know, they're waiting just like you were waiting, you know what I mean, you know. But we'd be like, and then I'd look back and go, yeah, have you figured it out yet? Do you know what you want now? How about now? Is it now? You know what you want now?
But with those grumpy people that you can finally get through to, and maybe not make them smile on the outside, but they're smiling on the inside.
Oh yeah.
I will bet if you ask them about good memories they have,
Yep.
that those interactions would be
Mhm.
good memories that they had.
Right, right. So that guy will say, you know, oh, there was a girl at Starbucks that I loved, you know, and Mama D would have, oh, there was a girl that worked at that convenience store and I just loved her because she did the same thing to the people that walked in
Yep.
there, you know, and the grumpies, and she would make them smile and you know, or slow down, you know, and and talk to them, you know. So we all do that. We do, you know, we're it's like what we are, you know. We can try to
Mhm.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
know.
but we don't have like 80% bad energy because who wants to hang around? I have gotten because, one of my goals over the last year and a half, 2 years, well, more than that, is really about raising my awareness, and when I'm around those people that are just cranky, it's kind of like, hmm,
I think I'm gonna step over here.
I think I gotta go to the restroom. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
restroom. Yeah, that's it. And
It's
get out of
easier to deal
there.
it's easier to deal with the grumpy people when they're your clients, your customers, than when they're your family or friends, because the client customers,
they come and go.
I can force them to smile. I can be as grumpy as they are. I used to have a gentleman who nobody wanted to serve him, and I'm like, "Why? He's always in a grumpy mood." So he came in one day, and he and in our store, we used to have to greet the people as they walked in, and I went, "Hello, Mr. Sunshine, how you doing?" And he looked at me and he says, "Oh, for Christ's sake, are you always this goddamn chipper?" I went, "Only when you walk in the store." And he was like, "Oh, no." Like, I would get him, I could speak to him when he was at getting gas. I could speak to him through the speaker, do the exact same thing. And he goes, "Are you still here? Are you here today?" And he knew exactly what days. I work 5 days a week, and he would only come during the days, during the week, never came on the weekends because I was the only one to put up with his BS and make him smile. So it's like, it's easy to deal with your clients because you have them for such a short period of time. When they come into your place, we make sure that they don't. For me, I would make sure that you come in with a grumpy old mood, but trust me, when you left, you were smiling.
Hmm.
You know, and I enjoyed that job. I enjoyed my clients. I still see some of them to this day. I don't work there anymore, and they'd be like, "When are you coming back?" Never. I
Yep.
love you, but never.
I was on a cruise with my daughter. We were on the beach in Saint Martin. Someone comes up to me and goes, "I recognize you." I said, "Yeah, duh." Right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
they go, "You're fruit stand people, aren't you?" And I was just like, "Oh my god," because that was, even when I was really young, you know. And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I worked there." He's like, "Grafton Street, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Oh my
It's like,
god.
"Oh, you were the troublemaker." No, okay, no, I was not. I was this perfect angel. No.
I will not confirm nor deny any
He
allegations.
pleads the fifth. There, gotcha. I always say I plead the fifth. I married an American. I can do that. There you go.
Ah, Amy Yo says, "Hello. Do you think the narcissist is finally going to give up now, and that he's not going to answer to a phone call 2 months ago? Wait, that he got no answer to a phone call 2 months ago, and no response to his Hoover text message last week. Hoover, Hover,
Hoover, Hoover,
Hoover text
like the
message.
vacuum cleaner, like the vacuum
Okay,
cleaner.
I am at no contact for 8 months.
Congratulations,
That's good.
Amy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's really good.
So this is my take on the whole reach out is that there's some issue going on with his current supply, and I'm going to talk technical. There's some issue going on with
Hmm.
his current supply, and so he needs reaffirmation and is reaching out to anybody that he maybe can get some energy returned to him because like a vacuum cleaner, they just suck it up and they will just suck you dry.
Yep.
And so when they do stuff like that, it is never about reconnecting and recreating the relationship because they love you. It's they want you back so that they can get your energy from you.
Yep.
And
They
if
need
you were
that
with
fix.
yeah, and if they were with you for a long time, it's like you were pretty good and easy supply for them,
Hmm.
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
makes you just feel really stupid being on the receiving end of that. See,
Yeah,
Gina, you say I'm brilliant, but I'm really good at being on the receiving end of that.
I
Yeah.
know. I know. Well, you know what? You can't be everything. Right? No, you've been doing so many other things. It's like you did just, you again, you're that nice. You're that, you just thought that this was, I treat you like this. You're going to treat me like that. You had that great beginning, And then, when it comes slowly, 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 but then there's enough is enough is enough, you were smart enough to leave and, and be done with it. So, yes, you are still brilliant.
Thank you.
Honest to God. I mean, if you guys have not, go to her site. I'm going to put up her site right here, okay? Banners. All right, soulhealer.com. All right. If you go there, you can see all her books are on there, all the movies, like links to where you can get all her movies and such. I gotta get that up here, right? So this is just some of the books. I think you've got more books out than this. I'm not even
No,
sure.
that's it. But the
Okay.
Jumpstart Your Intuition is the free download for my medical intuition training program, which is a professional level medical intuition, intuitive counseling, and medical or energy medicine certification training.
Wow. You see what I mean? Okay. So
Yep.
so yeah, she's just does everything. Plus she's been on like
And
and
I'm kind of fun.
she's a wicked fun. You remind me
She
of
is.
now this there's a typo in here, okay? But these are like her list of her movies. I might have to hit this again because I'm gonna put it up here for 15 seconds. But these movies, I remember watching Icon years ago when you were on Second Sight, and I watched that, and I still talk about those things today. And the meanings of things and the iconography from continent to continent to continent when there was no travel. All that stuff still resonates in my brain. You
You want
know.
to hear something funny? So I was finishing that movie up, and I burned it to a DVD because that was, like the thing then. Burned it to a DVD, put it in my DVD player on my like 55-inch TV set. And I go into the kitchen and I'm making dinner and blah, blah, blah. I'm in the other room. And I don't know if the cat stepped on the controller or what happened, but it started playing. And I'm, in there and like I hear this voice and is talking about this ancient mystery and blah blah blah. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Then I go in the other room and I realize it was me.
It really is, though. I mean, oh my God, you're like it's mesmerizing, and I just love your cinematography and everything. Everything about it was like perfect.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I love them.
I think that
And your
might be
books.
after this book, I might either do this new book on tape or do some video in that production mode, not just to like, hey, I'm Dr. Rita and I'm going to talk to you, but more,
Yeah, the whole
filmic
Yeah.
yeah,
thing.
because it
Yeah.
was very epic, very big, and it really grabbed your attention. The thing is, the content really grabbed your attention, but just the way that you did it and oh, guys, you've got to watch them. You just have to watch them.
And
But
it has an original soundtrack that goes to it. I had someone that actually did the entire soundtrack for that.
wow. But right now, I have to, let's see, we have a video from Athena. And I think if I do this, I think we all get bumped down. I'm pretty sure if I do it this way. But we have our crystal of the week with Athena. We've been off for a while, so I'm like a little rusty here on how the show runs. It's like my show, but how do I run it? Like this. All right. So I'm going to play this little crystal of the week segment from Athena, who was just so nice enough to make this for us today. And we'll be back right after.
Hello, loves. Happy summer. I am Athena Barry, Reiki Master and author of award-winning book, Raise Your Vibes Oracle Cards, and Manifest, my big book of blessings, and of course, creator of crystalreikihealer.com. And I'm so grateful to be back for another week, kicking off summer here on the Fox Den Show with our Crystal of the Week segment. So let's dive in. For this week's show, I really felt called to the energy of orange calcite. Yeah, see, this beautiful crystal is amazing for helping you to feel safe as you explore and break free from old patterns that are repressing your energy levels and perhaps even causing the blues, right? Or feeling disconnected, dealing with physical ailments like a slow metabolism or hormonal imbalance. Anytime we are dealing with emotional or physical pain, these energies tend to creep into and affect our sense of well being. So, orange calcite ushers in the energy of the sun, shining light on old wounds that are ready to heal. Any dissonant energy that's trapped within the body, especially within our womb, reproductive organs, our hip flexors or pelvis, is brought to the surface to release. And it's with this warm, gentle energy that is orange calcite. Orange calcite is number 17 in my Oracle deck, Raise Your Vibes crystal cards, and it is the crystal of liberation. It activates our sacral chakra and allows the golden energy of the sun to wash over our body, illuminating those darker corners of the self so you can bring your focus back to a sense of self-worth, self-value, and create a life that brings you joy and warmth. Ways you can use this crystal: it is a great one to carry around with you. Now, it's not as hard as other crystals, so unless it's wire wrapped, jewelry probably won't work as well. It can be used in your crystal grids, under your pillow, which I love because we spend so much time there, right? And as you know, I love to keep one in my bra, maybe not this size, but a smaller one, or in your pocket. That'll do just as well. It's wonderful to place next to you in the bath while you enjoy a spiritual bath to recharge your energy. And it's great to hold in your hands or next to you while you meditate. After the show, you can check out my ASMR Reiki healing here on YouTube, featuring orange calcite to support your journey in healing. And of course, I love to leave you with a wonderful affirmation to help you connect to your crystal's energy. And for orange calcite, it is, I am healed through my creativity and enjoy the power of the sun to keep me strong. And that wraps up our Crystal of the Week segment for orange calcite. Wishing you all a wonderful start to the summer. And ladies, thank you so much for having me join you. I hope this has brought some value to your show. Mwah! Many blessings.
So that was pretty cool.
That's my girl. For those of you who are in the audio version of this show, go to our website, go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube. The links for Dr. Rita Louise's website is there. The link for Athena's YouTube channel is there. I put links in. All you gotta do is click on them. But just go on over to all of our channels and subscribe and hit the notification buttons, because not only do Gina and I have great shows, but so does Dr. Rita. And just do it.
It's on an hour before.
Made me find you.
Yeah.
On Thursday, right? And so that's Rita's soulhealer.com, and crystalreikihealer.com is Athena. So they both do, like we got Reiki master here, we got Reiki master there. She's a Reiki master, and I am not.
You're just a ghosty girl.
I just do everything. I'm a jack of everything. And I did prana. Oh, look at this. It said, thank you. That was wonderful. That's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We brought her on. She came on to do her book, right? Raise Your Vibes, as a guest. And we loved her so much, we didn't let her go. So that she comes.
Well, I just am like, she just had such wonderful facial expressions. And I'm like,
yeah,
I could never do that. I just am like, hey, let's smoke a cigarette and have a drink, well, let's talk about this stuff.
So
That's
true.
why I love you. That's why I love you. I'm telling you, I always said it to you. You got to meet my friend Angel because you two are like clones, And she was my best friend. She was the one that I took over the whole, um, fruit stand business. It was her,
Uh-huh.
and then it was her family, her, and I that got me into being my own boss, my own business. That mentality, my whole life. And it was from that. Had I not, I don't know where I'd be today. I certainly wouldn't be here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I would be, but people come into your lives for definite reasons.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Athena came onto our show, and we just absolutely loved her and loved her message and everything. And she's just such a bright, shining light. And I'm like, do you want to talk about crystals every week? She's like, sure.
I'm sorry, but Gina sucks you in. I was only supposed to be here for a couple of shows, just testing it out. Was it 4 years later, 3 years later? I can't remember. It's been so long. Athena, just come on in. Try a couple of things. Now she's here. She may not be here live, but she's still here. She makes videos for us every week, and she's like, I'm pretty sure she's kind of going, how did I get here? It's just Gina has that ability.
I can make you disappear.
I can make your storage jar fill up.
I know. I know.
Well, let's shut that down.
But shiny ball moment over. But she
Yeah.
always does pick a crystal that does work well with the show. So that was I think a perfect crystal for this
It
show.
was.
About the energies, about dealing with the emotions, about all the things, and especially from a woman's perspective, because now you have the sacral chakra involved and everything. You have to hit your microphone away. There you go. There you go. So
Heavy breather on the show.
yeah, we got a heavy breather. But I just thought it was really perfect, right? You got to agree,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's
I just like the part about like having it bring your inner light out and shining light on the situation. If based kind of on our conversation, that's what many people need is to shine some light
Yeah.
on what's really going on for them.
right, right. Or to get out of that, even just that mindset, is to make that gratitude list. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
has to think about that gratitude list. I don't care how low you are. There's got to be something that you have that you're grateful for. Like even if
All
you
right,
love
so I have to
wash
tell
your
you, it's
house.
like I try to do gratitude like while I was dealing with the relationship stuff, and they're like, well, just think of something that makes you happy, And so I was like, thought about my late husband, and then I'm like, oh, but he's dead. So I would start to
Right,
cry.
right.
And then I would think about the dog, Bitsy, the dog poodle with the tinfoil hat, and but she's dead. So I started to cry, and I'm like, okay, well,
But they were
let's
in your life for a reason. They brought
Well,
so
I
much
know,
life
and they
to
made
your
me
life at
happy,
the time.
except for they're dead, and now
Yeah.
it makes me
Well,
cry.
hey,
And
newsflash, we're not
so
going to make it.
so I found a slight shift on that I found to be a little easier and less like, oh well, that just seems like bullshit or it's making me upset. Is I am, you know, I
Hmm.
am competent, I'm capable, I'm a good cook. I like to mow the lawn, and things that you believe that are true
I like
about
that.
yourself, like, so if I said, well, I'm rich and famous, like my little inner critic would be like, no, you're not. But if you say things that are true and come from your essence, regardless of what those are, and you can have them pre-planned,
There
Right,
you
right,
go.
right.
it,
Yeah,
it strengthens you,
it does,
and
and that's exactly it. The gratitude list thing that
mhm.
I make. It's like the things, not like not that, not I was grateful to have my husband in my life, but no, like just I have a roof over my head. Yay. All right. I accomplished a lot through my work. My roof over my head is paid for. Okay. I was like,
Hmm.
all these things, like, there's a lot of things to be grateful for. And there's a lot of things to be like, oh, well, this roof needs a freaking roof. And then this, that room needs to be wallpapered. And this one needs, I get to strip the wallpaper on, 9-foot ceilings and freaking 26-foot long rooms. And, do I want to do that? That's
Easy.
daunting. I know.
Easy.
It's once you start, it goes, but it's the process, but that's how quick it can go the other way. That
Hmm.
dark
Yeah.
cloud comes in and can just zap away all that stuff, and it's like you gotta stop it. All right, but just think again, well, if the room isn't that bad.
So Esther Hicks, she channels Abraham.
Right.
Are you familiar with Esther Hicks? So there's a woman named Esther Hicks, and she channels a spiritual being called Abraham. And so one of the techniques that she put forward that I absolutely fell in love with is the 17-second rule. So the 17-second rule is kind of like the 5-second rule, which says, if a piece of food falls on the floor, you got 5 seconds to pick it up, and then it's still good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the 17-second rule says, if I'm thinking a negative thought, I have 17 seconds to shift it before another negative thought is going to attach onto it. And
Yeah.
then another 17 seconds before another thought, and it takes you further and further down that negative road,
Rabbit hole. Yep.
and ultimately leaving you in your rabbit hole. And so, you made the comment earlier about, well, but then I catch myself, and I suggest to people, well, try to make it 17 seconds. So when I got rid of Mr. Wonderful, he's either called Mr. Wonderful or Mr. Right in the book, because his name's in the other book. It's not in this book because I just didn't want to put it out there.
Right. 'Cause
One book is enough for him.
Yeah.
Well, it just makes it sound like I figured it all out, which apparently I didn't. But anyway, that's another story. Um, but when we split up, it was kind of like, I ruminated a lot, and then I learned about that 17-second rule, and it would be like, taking a shower, start thinking about, nope, 17-second rule, and I like go do something, and like, oh, and so people think, oh, well, I 17-second ruled it, and it's just, it should be a done deal, but there were periods where it was like I was 17-seconding rule myself, like every 2 or 3 times a minute, just to think about something else. About something else.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
And practice makes perfect,
And
because
it is a practice.
it is, and it's a whole new mantra, and it's a whole new thing, and you gotta set your goals. I mean, if you want to live your life, okay. Now I'm gonna go here, all right, because we talk about addictions and stuff. I did have a problem with alcohol. I did go to AA, and thank God I did. Okay, but they have the 12 steps of AA are fucking amazing. All right, they really are. All right, you get my. But they are, and I think the entire world should be ruled by these rules. Okay, these are they're moral. They're keeping you on your toes. They're making you accountable. They're keeping you. If you wrong someone, this is the thing. Now, a lot of times when we carry all our emotions into the future and project it onto someone else, even, right? But they will burr themselves in here, all right, and they will deter us from moving on, because it's like, oh, well, they'll never forgive me. They'll never this. They'll never that. This is going to happen again. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, just stop. This is a vicious cycle, right? Over and over and over and over and over again. Right? So you stop it. So now they give you this thing. Okay, you write these things down. Okay, you admit where you're wrong. Where you would, you write down where you think people wronged you. Right? You want to make amends. You're going to try to make amends. Some people will not forgive you, or you will not forgive some other people. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. All right. The thing is you made the attempt, so now your conscience will be clear, and then this will, though, get rid of a lot of this baggage that really is like stifling to your progress. And once you rid yourself of that, now you're open up to a whole bunch of positivity instead of negativity, and that can really overpower all that negative, and you can move forward.
Well, and one of the things that it does is the steps cause you to have to go inside and become aware of, well, this is what I did, or, and become aware of what's going on inside, and it really has a very mindfulness practice to it. And, and so, and once you start becoming aware of what's going on inside, or how your actions affect other people, or how other people's actions affect you, it's like kind of once you go through that door, you can't go back.
You're right. And you look at things a whole different way.
I'm sorry, I think there's a mosquito in my office, and it's like,
oh, I hate it. And you can, and are you sure it's a mosquito? No dead people.
No, there was something that landed on me, and mosquitoes love me.
I got attacked with a dog this morning. I'm like, what is it? Because people are out mowing their lawns and stuff. I'm like, there you go, feast over there, right? Leave me alone. The dog. But I hate mosquitoes. But getting back to this though, I mean, you do figure out really how to live your life, and yeah, you do. You can't not know these things, right? You can't not live your life like this. You may kind of fall back sometimes, I mean, you may want to wallow in things and stuff, for a while, but you give yourself almost like that 17-second rule thing, whatever. You might give yourself 25 seconds, you might give yourself, whatever, as long as you do it, and that's
the key, as long as you do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, okay, so I was having a great stretch, good energy, joyful. The world was excellent. And then I contacted GoDaddy because I was having an issue with my webpage.
No.
See, you know where I'm going already. And that was like a month of... And, normally I go to yoga on Wednesday night, and it's a very relaxing, to me, meditative. I couldn't even go because I was just like so freaking cranky. And I'm like, okay, you were just joyful a couple of weeks ago, and now you're here. And it took me another month to kind of get back out of wherever it was I was, because because even working with my tools, I was stuck, and I finally had to just, honor that this is where I was, and that I would eventually emerge on the other end, which obviously wasn't too fast enough for me.
Yeah, but Bob does all the electronic stuff. I don't know if I have this thing in here. I do not. Oh, that's too bad. I was going to show you my persuader.
Your persuader.
Yes, which is a hammer. And I'll tell you, that is how I deal with computer issues.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, Bob has the patience mostly, right, to deal with that. He'll lose his patience for things I think mean nothing, but obviously they mean something to him because he loses his marbles over it, right? But he'll have the patience to deal with it. And the people helping him to fix a site or whatever, because we have, Vortex Ghost Gear, we have a number of sites, and he runs them all. Thank God, because seriously, I would want to reach through the phone and kill these people, and then I feel much better.
Well, if they were helpful, it would be one thing, but when you call and they say, "Oh, well, it's because of this," and it's like, dude, it's not.
Yeah, what you did, what's going on.
So one of the issues I was having, I'll just jump in. One of the issues I was having was I was really working on my web page speed, and I changed my template and I did all of these things, and my page speed didn't change, which it should have changed. And one of the things that I noticed was that GoDaddy installs these two payment systems. One is Stripe, so it's the credit card reader thing, and then a GoDaddy payment system. So if you install WooCommerce as your interface, credit card interface for your webpage, it automatically installed these two pieces of software that I could not delete. It was
Oh.
behind the firewall. I could not delete them.
Oh.
So they were like, no, it doesn't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. It's your problem. Blah, call your web developer. Blah. So I went on a different one of my sites and I made a little test site and I installed WooCommerce on the second site and the page speed dropped 40 points. 40 points.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything.
But it's not their problem, you know.
Wow.
I'm like, well, just delete it. I'm like, oh my God.
You just did all this work and you wanted to delete it.
I just wanted them to delete the programs that they installed that I didn't install. Finally, I found a plugin that basically voided them.
Oh,
And nice.
And it's like, okay, well, that's better. Here, buy this, get this software. Okay, $60, did nothing. Get this amount of money, did nothing. And I'm like,
yeah, they will. Yeah, they will do that to you to death. And then Bob did finally lose his patience with one of our things, and he just left them because they did run a lot of our things. But we did something else and had it all set and running before we did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the plugins and all that stuff too. You know, it was all done in the meantime. But that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work to have something stupid ruin it all.
Yeah.
Well, and I identified it, you know, and it was their attitude to me that, and this is the part that pissed me off and just kept me going, that I was an idiot, that it isn't a problem, that you need to go over here and do this thing, which, and then finally, after literally a month of calling almost every day, I get this very nice young man on there and he goes, well, I don't really know how to fix that, but let me send you to a tier 2 guy.
Yep.
And I already had found that one plugin, but there was still an issue. And he goes, oh, well, your domain's not pointing to the right place and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, do, fixed.
Ha! I can't do that. I just
don't see myself
in computers and things. No patience. I have no patience. I admit it. I own it. It's true. I have big persuaders. I have the big sledgehammer. I have windows that I'm gonna throw things out of. I mean, and I will. And I'm going, when I do it, I will video it, right? Because it happens. That is what I. Yeah, screw this.
We need a destruction. What is it? That thing that they have out there now? It's a destruction room where you can go in and swing a baseball bat, a golf club, a sledgehammer, whatever. They have all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have a room just built with computers just for you to destroy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
See, my thought, other than dealing with this people, that's the part that gets me the most. You know, when I'm working on something and it's not working, and my belief is if you're not cursing at your computer while you're trying to set things up, you're not doing it right.
Yep.
Okay, that's Gina.
I mean, I get to. Yep, I get. As me, I'm swearing constantly, but I'll get there. But I think it's a. I think it's a.
And it's true. The thing is, you have to let it out. Gina used to call me and leave me such charming messages in the morning. Something wasn't working, and I would wake up to the Facebook Messenger with a voice message. Only one time did I forget to put in my earbud and listen to it.
You're like,
Yep.
Exactly. But then I messaged her after and I went, you feel better? She goes, yes.
I haven't seen you in a long time, Mr. Eddie. You still doing your show? Were you on his show?
Not in a long time.
Yeah, I was on his show before too. Yeah. What's going on, Mr. Eddie? Hey, fill us in. Yeah. but I have a lot of dead computers around. I have 2 over here. I've got 2 up there.
She's holding it for that destruction room.
Yep. All ready to go.
Oh, your puppy's in the background.
Oh yeah, he likes
Onyx.
That's Onyx. He's all white, but when I first got him, he was blacks and browns and a little bit of white. But I shaved him for the very first time, and now he's all white, except for his little muzzle here and his nose, because that's why he was called Onyx in the beginning. But now people go, "Why do you call him Onyx? He's white. His nose is black."
Poodles do that. You know, you get them one color and then they
Oh,
become
do they?
something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to see the perfect dog for the fox then?
She's got a fox, or at least he looks like a fox. He's adorable.
Hey, little puppy.
Did I wake you up? But this is Biscuit.
Hey, Biscuit.
He's like a little fox. He does look like a little fox when he's
He
wearing
does.
his little curly tail that flips up and everything. And he's such a love. I rescued him. He's 15 now, so I just rescued him
Really?
last year. And
He's like, do you see that look? Did you just tell my age on national TV? Mr. Hare?
he's a sweet boy. Okay.
Why did you name your show The Fox Den?
Why did I name my show? Okay,
That's in the yeah.
because the show. Okay, what happened was the original show was Second Sight with Chris George, and we had Dr. Rita was one of our favorite guests to have on, and but he got so busy doing readings that he left. And on Second Sight, I used to do, because my spirit animal is the fox, or is butterfly. Mine's a fox, okay. And I used to do a little segment on the show. Every show, like Athena does the Crystal of the Week, I would do a little segment on paranormal. And it was called The Fox Den, right? So then when Chris left, I still kept the name Second Sight for a very long time. But then after a while, I'm like, Chris, do you mind? I said, are you definitely not coming back? And he said, no, I'm definitely not coming back. And I said, all right, then I'm going to change the name of the show. And I named it The Fox Den. So then when Mama D came on, because I was on her show, she had fireside chats with Mama D. And Angel Meadows radio and everything.
Conversation with friends.
Yeah,
multiple shows.
We would go back and forth on each other's show, and then I said, you should just stay and co-host. And then she left, and now it's the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. So that's
exactly. And the thing is, she didn't realize that we were meant to be together, because if you look back in all of her stuff that's connecting with foxes, there's always a butterfly in there. So I'm the butterfly, she the fox. She stuck with me, or we stuck with each other.
Yep. Yeah. We're writing a book together too, an oracle book.
But yeah, we need to get around to continuing that
one of these days. So it'll get done.
So that is why the show is called The Fox Den.
Yep. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. And so you used to do your radio show.
It was Just Energy Radio. And so my live stream, which is in competition with yours, is on Thursday night, and you can catch it live streamed on YouTube at Just Energy Radio on YouTube, whatever that is.
Yep. Right, I know. That's horrible. The only good thing though is if you want to watch either one, there's archives. I mean, our show.
Yeah, exactly.
The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D.
1 week watch us live. 1 week watch Dr. Rita Louise live.
Right, and you can still put your comments in there, and we still get the comments even if you watch when the show is not live, and we can still answer the comments and stuff. We can still ask the questions. If you ask the question for Rita on our YouTube, you are streaming on hers. But if you asked it on ours, I would, get the question over to her and get your answer. So that's the upside. So there's always an upside. Okay.
Exactly. We will always keep you busy.
Yep. Okay. What is this now?
Oh, we're just ignore it.
What is all that? Uh-oh. Are you on fire?
I'm sure it was a child abduction alert.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I hate those things. I mean, I hate the fact that there's, that. Gosh, how are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, we only have
we have about a half an hour left.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you want to talk about any of your other books? Do you want to talk about more about the book coming up? Is there something that you're doing that you want to plug besides your Thursday? competition show with us on 7 o'clock.
Sorry, what day was that? What time was that?
Thursday from 7 to 8 Central Time, so
Oh,
8 to
see where?
9.
Yeah. Oh, Central, yeah.
Yeah,
So 8 to 9 our time. Yeah.
yeah,
So it would be watch her show for the first hour and then come see us for the second hour. Well,
yeah.
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. But these are her books, okay? The one that we've been talking a lot about is that first one there, The Empath and Narcissistic Dysfunctional Dance. If you have any kind of horrible relationship or a friend in this kind of relationship, this is absolutely the book to own. Now, she has studied mankind, our origins, our iconographies, our, are we star seeds, are we from the universe? I mean, there's so into the paranormal and into every aspect of what can possibly happen to
Hmm.
us and has happened to us in the past, is what like floats her boat. So she,
I mean, I think I really, I mean, this book is really kind of taking things full circle, I think.
right,
Um, but I think if I have to really take a step back, I think I really enjoy looking at the human experience,
yeah,
and how
there it
we
is.
interact with the world and how, people interacted in the world back in antiquity, versus now, versus inside, outside, So I think it's really cool. But I think something that might be interesting to talk about is, what's going on today. It just seems like there are so many toxic, negative people out there now. You post something on Facebook, which, is a
Yeah,
joke
yeah,
or
you
a
get whammy,
comment,
Yep.
and you get slammed, which,
right.
you know, I don't think people recognize that, their negative energy and their toxic comments affect people.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the friggin' pandemic really put a spin on so many people in the wrong way here. I mean, but it did destroy so many lives. If you weren't prepared or you couldn't, really make it through it, if you lose your job and you lose everything, or if you lost your business or whatever. So there's a lot of negativity that was kind of forced on the global scale, because before that we were doing the opposite. We were connecting on such unbelievable
Hmm.
levels, psychically, energetically, all the way around the universe. It was going our way, you know what I mean? It was really going the positive way, and that veil was thinning and people were connecting,
Hmm.
everything. And then the pandemic hit.
Well, and I think people have PTSD
Right.
because of
Yep.
the pandemic, but unless you sit there and go, oh, I just went through this traumatic event where everyone on the planet was running around in fear and in panic mode, then you can't sit there and go, okay, so what do I need to do to move myself out of that or heal myself from that? I mean, there really aren't that many people that talk about the impact that the pandemic had on individual people's self, their inner being. I mean,
Mm.
I know for myself, my goal, other than going fishing, because that was pretty much all you could do, um, it's true, um, was to just stay grounded, and just not be in fear, and I was like, well, if you could be a beacon of light, which, it might have been like a match, because I wasn't feeling particularly bright, but I'm like, but you know what? If I can have a match, that would be better than just being in this pitch black darkness, which
Hmm.
is how the world seemed at that time.
Right.
It was not good.
No, no. But mankind survives. It's what we do. And in the universe, I mean, that's the yin and the yang, right? We can't have the good without the bad. We can't have the pretty without the ugly. We can't have, all, blah, 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 blah. It's endless, right? So it's what you do with it, though.
But if you don't realize that there's some damage,
Yeah.
you can't go, oh, well, maybe it affected me.
Yeah. Right. But then counseling, is a must. And there isn't enough counseling. And then when you do go to counseling, all they do is want to write you a prescription. So that is not the way the world needs to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
People need to talk. People need to get to the root of the issue and solve the issue, and do the work. They want that miracle cure.
But people also need to be heard. As much as we want to, I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but if nobody's hearing me, it's not going to do any good. And just an example, I had a woman who called today where I work, and she had to cancel her booking because she had something that was an emergency came up, and normally I wouldn't cancel it. And I can feel the stress building in her conversation. And I said, look, hang on. I said, my job is to stress. Your job is to breathe, relax. Just let me handle it. I hear what you're saying. I understand what the problem is. Let me fix it. Breathe. Let me fix it. And I fixed it for her. And she's like, holy cow, thank you very much. You listened to what I had to say. I said, yeah, that's what I do. That's my job. I have to listen to you. I don't have to, but I want to. It's what I enjoy doing. And I fix it. If I can't fix it, trust me, I'll find the bear in the woods and I'll poke him until I figure out how to fix it. So that's the thing. People can talk until they're blue in the face, but unless they're heard, it doesn't do any good.
It's true.
And there's a lot of people. You sit there, and I love how people put all over Facebook, if you're my friend, share and post this on your page, and there's always an open door. I don't copy and paste. I might copy and paste and make an adjustment to it, but I'll take off copy and paste so that other people, if I agree with what you're saying, then I will, because to me that means I'm hearing somebody. They need to have this. What gets me is when people go, do you know that you shouldn't put that up on your Facebook? And it's like, it's my Facebook, right? I can do what I want. And when I know there's something going to be a little bit hanky, that people are going to go, I'll turn off the notifications so I don't hear it.
Someone got offended because I was posting all the Fox pictures, or I was posting Fox memes and things, and I was putting things up like personal things using Fox image, and they're like, well, that's disrespectful to the Fox, and it's this and that. And like, no, it isn't. That is my spirit animal. Well, you shouldn't be putting those things on Facebook, and you shouldn't be disrespectful, and you shouldn't be blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you know what? Block, delete, and see ya. Right? Because you're making no sense, one. And that's the one good thing about Facebook, when people act like it's
buttheads.
Block, delete. And that's it. Problem solved. But that's
that person needed to vent his nastiness, his or her, whatever the case may be.
But it just feels like people need to vent their nastiness more and more. And in the same breath, there are so many people like in your position that answer the phone, that are customer service people, that don't want to listen. And
I know.
Hear you. And
they're in the wrong job. Yeah, like your GoDaddy people. I had a GoDaddy site a long time ago when I buy decorative solutions for my design business, and I was so busy, and I just didn't have time for that. I was working all the time, and then doing paperwork, and then doing plans, and doing designs, and shopping, and curtains, and this and that. I was like all the time. It was like it just never ending. And then there'd be a problem with production, and there'd be, if all the stain's not right. But all right, I was always doing that. But when it came to the site, I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. And let's hurry up and wait. Wait for hours before they answer the phone, and then you get wait another couple of hours for them to do whatever they're doing. You let them into their computer. You don't know what the hell they're doing if they're in the computer, And I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. So I don't have time for this.
Taking it off.
But I need my computer, and so it's like,
but I just think it makes it hard. I think there are some people like you guys, that try to have positive energy and try to keep your emotions high, and even if you have like a day where it totally sucks because you talk to GoDaddy on the phone, it's not that that's your normal place of being.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that that's just kind of their normal
Yeah.
place.
Yep. I know.
And,
I know a
and
lot of them. Like,
you
oh,
know,
Grumpy, Mr. Grumpy. He always looks like he's angry. Always, even if he's not, he looks like he's angry. Like, what's the matter?
mhm.
What's the matter? What's the matter? Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's like something's the matter, and then I'll find out 2 days later what's the matter. You know, but there was something.
And that's when you got to poke the bear.
Yeah.
Well, I do anyway.
I just
Good,
find,
good.
and I'd love to hear you guys reflect on this. I have been finding that it's just been harder and harder to spend any time and be around those people.
It's true.
That's
That
true.
that is true. It is difficult. I've lost so many friends because I can't deal with their shit. You know, one girl went psycho on me, and wrote like all kinds of stuff. Because I couldn't spend time with her. Or actually, two people. The same thing. Two people I couldn't spend time with. I am busy. I had like 4 businesses going at once. I'm sorry, I can't drop everything and go to Bahama with you. All right, I'm sorry, it's not happening. Okay,
Mhm.
can't do it. It's like all the way up there, and man, by the time you get there, and no, it would have been great, but I had to, and she just went crazy. And you're not a girlfriend. You're not. You're not. It's like I just can't. I'm sorry. I cannot deal with your neediness. You're clingy. You're needy. You're whatever. And that's just a small example of the different types of the personalities I can't function with.
Hmm.
I just can't. I don't have patience for. I don't have patience for stupid. I don't have patience. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
don't. I really.
but
I
she
don't.
puts up with me.
You're not stupid by any
I'm
way, shape, or
special.
form. You're very special. I love you. Not short bus special, but you're special.
Aw, I like the short bus. It's fun. You meet a lot of interesting people.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Like ignorance and intolerance and
I don't
oh,
know. I understand what you guys are saying. I have it's a rarity for me to run into those people in my circle. As I won't allow I don't know if it's because I won't allow them close to me and it's not a thing that I do consciously, but the people that I hang around are like whether it's here in Facebook or here in my personal life that I don't have that total negative I need you 100%. I mean, Gina sent me something today. We haven't spoken in since the last show. We like we'll say 2 months, and it's like I'll just check in every so say it's just me checking in, stalker,
yep,
going how's it going,
yep. And
and
I go,
and I don't have people that need me 24/7 to be there. I was like because they know they can't get it. I know Gina's always busy. I was like, are you breathing? Are you sleeping?
yeah.
Okay, we're good.
I
My
know she's
swear
there.
jar's going down. I'm
And
starting to build. What's up?
I sent her the thing that says stuff about a good true friend is always there regardless whether you speak every day or not.
Exactly.
I mean that's a true friend. It will be there when you really need them, and they're always there. In
And I've been blessed, cursed, whatever you want to call it, with great friends like Gina, and they deal with me and they put up with me and I deal with them and I put up with them, and I don't have, I can't, I don't allow people to stay in my brain. I mean, I must have come across a few, but I don't remember them because it takes my energy that I don't. I want to give people that energy.
right.
You know.
But now, Rita, you're in 3 of the communities, right? Because now we do metaphysical community here
Mm-hmm.
mostly. All right, great, great, great people.
Yep.
Usually pretty positive, very
Yeah.
funny,
Pretty
very
fun.
upbeat, very
You have your one or two that are kind of cranky old farts, but yeah, in general.
Mhm.
Then you get paranormal. I'm paranormal, right? Paranormal drama.
I'm
center.
watching that one. That community's fun to watch.
Drama. And you don't know whose clique is who's in what clique and what blah blah blah, what's going on or who did what or whatever. It's always something, you know. But now, so you're in the paranormal clique, you're in the metaphysical clique, you're in the ET clique, the UFO clique and stuff,
And the ancient mystery.
and the, right. So you're in all these different communities. So you have a lot
Yeah.
to contend with and a lot of different types of people in the cliques that go on there. So
But you know what's interesting is that, okay, other than the UFO people, because I have to kind of push them over to the side, you know, they're all weird. I mean, even the UFO people are weird, and, you know, they're open to an alternative line of thought. You know, I mean, I know a bunch of Bigfoot people too. I mean, I live in Jefferson, so the Fouke monster isn't far from here, and they have one of the biggest Bigfoot conferences in Jefferson, which is right by me. You know, so I know a
got
bunch
a
of those
Bigfoot
people.
cast in my cellar.
You know, but what was interesting, so I had gone to the 60th anniversary of the Roswell crash, which is like right at 4th of July weekend, with Jerry Pippin of jerrypippin.com, who was a podcast host who I learned so much from. You know, because he would come on my show or I would go on his show, and just listening to him interview people and how he kept the conversation going. And, you know, and he was just a great, dirty old man. And
Kind.
and so I went with him. So he was doing podcasts the entire time. They gave him a room that was closed off so he could just interview, you know, people that were at the event. And because at the time it was a very, very popular show. But they gave him a booth, so he had a bunch of merchandise, and he was like, look, you can set up and do readings if you mind the booth. And I'm like, okay. And I set up, and they told me I could not do psychic readings at the UFO conference.
Why not?
You gotta unleash some bad memories of whatever.
Because it's like devil stuff or something.
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. So you can be abducted by an alien, and that's perfectly okay. And I just want to sit here and do some freaking psychic readings, and I'm the freaking devil. I don't know.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yep.
So I always have to put those UFO people like a little caveat over there, you know, because they're open to a certain extent, but then not everywhere. I mean, the
I think it's like that flat Earth guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, Earth. Yeah. Oh, that was insane. What a show. I've never been speechless really ever in my life.
2 shows.
Between him, 2 shows.
And that's it.
2 shows that was kind of.
I could never get a flat Earth guy to come on to my show, and I really did try, and I never could.
Oh, we did. We can connect you up probably.
No, I'm not doing my show anymore.
No.
So I had this one, you know, and I'll name it because there's no way for me to like tell the story without it. So I was interviewing John Lear. So he's the son of the guy who invented the Learjet, and John Lear like was a test.
Oh, wait a minute. He's the one that saw all the little teeny ships that are attached to the big ships. Is that the one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so I thought I knew what his shtick was, you know, that there were bases on Mars and the dark side of the moon. That's what I thought. And he comes on and he is just telling me stuff that is contrary to where I thought
Yes,
he
that's
was,
what Matt said to us.
you know, and which is what I was like prepared for. That's what my question said, you know, and he was saying stuff that I had nothing.
Yep.
I literally had nothing.
Well, okay. We had Reverend Battle. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. So my mom used to listen to the show on her phone because it was on Blog Talk. And she's not enjoying it. She wants to hang up. And my dad's like, don't hang up. This is funny as hell. So then my husband comes home, and he would always listen to the show, and he would offer critique, usually a fairly nice one, but usually I knew what he was going to say. And so that night he comes in. I'm like, I don't even want to hear about it. I don't even want to hear about it. It was a terrible show, terrible. And he goes, well, you need to come up with a different word other than fascinating. And I just looked at him and I said, well, I didn't think bullshit was appropriate.
Oh my God.
Well, we were right. I always get media kits and books and this and that for all my people, right? So now I really, this one I didn't read the books because he didn't want to send the books, right? But it was about like exorcisms and, that type of stuff. So I thought we were going to be talking about these things. Like he was into what we do in the paranormal and everything else. And I talked to his girl, right, that runs all his stuff. And, we had it all set up. I had questions, everything.
Mm.
When this guy came on, he was like, he ruled the world, basically. Okay.
Yep.
When he dies, heaven.
There was God,
No
and then there was him.
Yeah, there's no dogs in heaven. One.
Oh God, yes.
Lost all our people right there. But if he goes, if you think of heaven as a high rise, God's on the top floor and I'm on the next floor down. And then he says, and here on earth, no one should do any kind of exorcisms except for me. I am empowered right from God, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's talking about the gates when you walk up to the gates, and
he walks on water.
Separate one for dogs.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he'd ask us a question, and I'd just be like,
got nothing.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I did this one interview, and I had gotten this woman's first book that was channeled, but and I don't normally like channeled material, but it was so high vibrating that I decided to interview her. That's like a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. It's really
and then she came out with a second book that was about like Jesus and Mary Magdalene. So I thought it was going to be about like soulmates or something like that. But it turned out that the book was like, well, Jesus and Mary went down to the 7-Eleven and they got a Slurpee. And then they went up on this hill and hung out and, like they watched the clouds go by. And I'm like, I can't even interview this. But she was already scheduled, and it was like, oh, my God. So thank God it was only an hour.
I have a whole bunch of books over here, but I got this one here that I thought you might like. Narctionary.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
The Narcissist Abuse Recovery Dictionary. The book. That's going to be one of our shows coming up. I'm just like, all right, that sounds interesting. Haven't read it yet because I always read the week before the show. But
well, I think it's interesting with narcissism that there are words. Like I just learned a new word that's not in my book called baiting. Where they'll just like bug you about stuff and bug you about stuff until they get a reaction out of you. Yep. Well, I definitely have experienced it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I didn't know it was a thing. I just thought it was them, not a narcissistic thing. It's like,
I'm going to learn a whole bunch of words.
There's a whole freaking book.
There's a whole book of words.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how many pages. Hold on. Let's see. How many pages is it?
How many different words are in there? I mean, is it like
182?
Holy crap.
Yeah, narcissistic. There's a whole thing on just abuse. There's just the words. There's a recovery section. Yeah.
I think when it comes to narcissists, I think that they've been around forever, but it's just now that we're beginning to talk about it, we're beginning to realize them. Baiting.
Yeah.
We're now beginning to talk about them and realize that they're actually out there. It's like they've always been around, but we just never spoke of it. Yep. And now it's time that the people who have been through it, like yourself, are just showing it to people. Hey, look, this is out there. And a lot of people are going, oh, so that's what I went through. So it's like, It's what I love about our show and a lot of the shows that we that I listen to, is that they sort of open windows for us to see that things are out there. People are out there, good, bad, or otherwise. Crazy.
Oh,
They're out there.
speaking of, okay, this Virgil Kane.
Hey, from Manchester, England. My parents were from Ireland. The fairy mound or fairy woman banshee is a female spirit in Irish folklore who heralds the death of a family member, usually a screaming or wailing, shrieking or keening. Her name is connected to the mythologically important tumuli or mounds that dot the Irish countryside, which are known as as a side, singular side, Old Irish. Did I miss where this one was coming from?
I think it's just informational. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just information, but it was like cool information, like
Yeah.
because there's so many aspects to between paranormal,
Mm,
metaphysical, folklore, fairy folklore, elementals. I mean, there's just so many realms and so many things, cryptids, whatever, you know, in us being star seeds. Seriously, there's so much that goes on in this world that if you don't do some footwork and look into things,
yeah. And be open to it.
yeah, you
As
Mhm.
might
a lot of people is like, no, it's not possible.
a lot
It's
of
because you're not open to it, listening to it. Whether it's aliens, whether it's flat Earth, be open to it, listen to it. I guess the flat Earth guy, I some of the stuff he said kind of sort of made sense, which was scary because the rest of the shit was,
well, that's
I'm
how you
sorry,
can,
nuts.
quotes can be born, right?
You know?
Real easy, because you can make things sound believable.
Yeah, true.
My philosophy is, you know, I love a good conspiracy theory or some like weird thing, and it doesn't mean I necessarily have to believe it,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that I know it's there because if it really actually is true, then it's not like some big
A shock,
surprise.
right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
oh wow, really, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I had this girl on
I
Nancy
heard that one
before.
time. Yeah.
She's all about conspiracy theories, and she wrote many books on conspiracy theories, which are really, really, really. Some of them are really out there, but some of them like, hmm, yeah, I can actually see that happening. So you just don't know what's going on. Okay, wait a minute. How was my question informational? I merely tried to add context. Yeah, yeah. No, I liked it. I really liked it. I liked what you said. I love stuff like that. Between fairy lore and folklore and all the cryptids and all the
Little people.
yeah, native people and their beliefs and everything. I mean, they've shaped societies. You go back to caveman days, like she's studied all this stuff. Like it's amazing, amazing. You look at some of her books, it's amazing. You watch her movies, they're amazing. But you go back to the caveman days, and you have hunter gatherers, and you have storytellers, you have songwriters, singers, and, the people that are preparing the food, and that's how society works. And you tell stories, and the stories go on and on and on. And of course, the fisherman story, the fish was this big, this big, this big, this big, this big. So, but they have an origin based in truth. Usually, a fairy folklore has a base in truth.
Yep.
And there's always a level of consistency that you find from culture to culture to culture, which says somebody somewhere saw something like that, and now we're just bringing it forward.
Right.
And people go, well, but it gets all mixed up because it's like playing telephone, and I'm like,
Gosh, yeah.
no,
No, it's not.
no.
A fact is a fact is a fact.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
like
like,
you're an icon, right? In the iconography, there are no people traveling from continent to continent in those days.
mhm.
Yet the same statues, the same likenesses of deities are showing up from continent to continent to continent, whether they're being seen, whether you know what I mean by who,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
recorded, and the same types of stories are recorded. There's a basis in truth there.
Mhm.
So, you know, Who's to say?
Every pearl starts from a grain of sand. So
Exactly.
every story, there's a somewhere there's a truth, whether it's to one person or a group of people. There's a grain of truth to every story, whether people like to believe it or not.
Yeah.
There's always something that starts
Mhm.
somehow. It started somewhere.
Yeah. And Virgil, that what you wrote about right there would be like a movie I'd be watching tonight.
Mhm.
There you
Those are
go.
my favorite kind of movies, Banshees and
Hmm.
and whatever, something scary. It's my favorite kind of movie.
Not too scary for me, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, I love them.
I don't watch as juvenile as people think it is. I don't watch Chucky movies. I don't watch Saw movies.
I don't like slasher movies, but I like supernatural,
Oh, but
ghost
those I don't consider scary.
and stuff.
You know, I have a couple of friends. Well, they have the new thing on was it Discovery Plus? It's the Exorcism group. I know two of them, and it's like originally I wouldn't have paid attention to it because I knew people who are my friends on Facebook. I watched them, and I was like, hmm, interesting. Better not happen in my house, but interesting.
You know,
So I can access this new series. So I want to say it's called From. It might be Fear,
oh,
but
I
I
love
think it's
From.
From.
I love,
I can't get past the music.
I love the music.
No, it creeps me out.
Oh my God!
I
I
mean,
want to make.
is
I
it
make
like
crypto
super
court
spooky?
boxes. Oh yes, I
Is
love
it like
Que
spooky? Because
Sera Sera. It's
I
Que
can't.
Sera Sera in a spooky way.
I know I can't get past the music, so it's like I'm not gonna watch it.
So just bypass the music.
Oh,
Go
looks like
fast
something
forward.
I'm gonna
Fast forward.
Fast
Picture
forward.
go fast, monk. Picture go fast. Go past me. I freaking love that music. Oh my God.
No,
Well,
it
we
creeps
can't
me
be friends
out.
now.
All right, fine.
Okay, all right, you two, behave. Just calm down.
People
Breathe.
get like that though. They really do. Because you don't like a show, or you don't like it this, or you don't like
Oh
it that.
God,
Like,
yeah.
so what? Do you know what? That's what makes the world go around.
Because you
Different.
don't believe what I believe and you don't know what I know, I can't be your friend.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
It's like, okay, whatever. That's really freaking weird, but whatever.
I
I
still,
had a friend. I have a friend who we were very close, but we didn't believe the same thing,
hmm,
and so now we're not friends anymore. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know our relationship was based on
Similar.
what we believe in or
hmm.
not.
Oh yeah.
Well, then
I
you'll never find someone that's exactly like you.
God
So
forbid
you're
there's gonna be
doomed to be
exactly
alone
like
the
me.
rest of your life, whoever that was.
Yeah.
Right? Because really,
Yeah. When I first started talking about Reiki and my angels and stuff, I have a reverend in my town. He totally does not believe. He believes that the angels are, devils in disguise and yada yada yada. And I said to him, I said, Rev, I said we're going to agree to disagree, but I'm always going to like you as a person, just because for this moment in time you don't believe what I believe, and fine. But we agree to disagree, and this is what I think people should do. Like, I don't believe that. That's fine. It doesn't make you a different person than the person I
right?
got to know in the
Yeah.
first
If
place.
you don't like a show, change the channel. I mean,
Exactly.
but it doesn't mean I don't like that show, and I'm going to keep it on that channel, maybe in a different room, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
we get
exactly.
together after and
I'll go in my office, and you can
freaking,
stay in the living room. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, puppies or something after, okay? But I'm going to watch my horror right now. But Virgil says some people, some believe the fairies to be spirits of the dead, while some believe them to be fallen angels. Though the exact provenance of fairies is unknown, the idea of the fairy is very dear to the English folklore. Since centuries, fairies have been painting the imagination of children and adults alike with their benevolence, notoriety, and magical powers. Amen.
Yep.
There are so many books and children books and adult books and everything between fairies, elves, gnomes,
Yep.
all the elementals are
That's home
mixed
to
in
wee folk.
with that.
Yeah.
You know, they're even making a Disney movie now about elementals, so they're trying to get the information out there whatever way they can.
Yeah.
You know,
Again, it's all based. There's always a smidgen of truth somewhere,
Hmm.
and some people just don't get it. But hey, that's life.
yeah,
Anyway, my darlings, you do realize it's
it is.
10:03.
It It is. It is. Well, listen, it was
It was
just
just a
a
blast
ball.
having you.
Excellent. It just felt so nice to like hang out with you guys and be in your vibe, and it was good.
We had
Oh,
fun.
I adore you. I adore
I
you.
love you
But,
too.
you gotta get this book done. You really do, because I need to get it. And
So I think I have 2 more chapters to
ah,
write.
ah,
So it's
okay,
getting close.
okay. So you guys, all right, that is Rita's website there, soulhealer.com. Please, please, please go check it out. Okay,
Yeah.
this is some of her books, all her books. Oh, let me get the
And they can go there if they want to schedule a private consultation with me. Just, send me an email. There's plenty of information about that on the webpage also.
yeah, she does so much. I mean, there's so much. We didn't even scratch the surface of the things
No.
that this woman does.
I
We
think
seriously
we could have you every one show every month for a year, and we probably
for one thing that you do,
still would have new things to figure.
one subject.
Mhm.
It's amazing. And these are only a lot of her movies that she put together too. And there are links on how you can get those movies and how you can download these movies. And believe me, the thought process, the cinematography, the everything that she puts into these are so well worth watching. You'll thank me. All right, you will thank me.
That's right.
Because I talk about it today, and that still in all my shows, and it pops up in my mind. I'll be reading something or reading one of these books I have to read, and I'll be like, oh, I remember this in this film. I remember that, and it's like there it is, full circle. Always comes full circle. So Rita, you are amazing. I did want to ask you about being on Ancient Aliens.
So, I mean, I really just had like a little teeny smidge part. Now, the more recent thing is that I have been on Gaia's Ancient Mysteries or Ancient Civilization #4. And then I went back and was filmed for Ancient Civilization #5. So that hasn't come
There
out
we
yet.
go.
Oh, cool. Well, I have
And
to.
I'm like a regular head on the different episodes. I didn't just have like one little baby part. And
Wow.
actually
So I didn't know that.
on YouTube, this is good. So on YouTube, if you go to Gaia's page, so GAIA,
Yep.
and they have like video shorts, so just like those 2-minute videos. If you scroll through it, there's actually a short of me on there, and it's gotten like 300,000 hits on it or something.
All right, Mama, get in there. Put that in the
Doing it
link.
right now.
Yeah. All right, that's amazing. That's awesome. There's gonna be a few more hits because I'm looking. Oh,
Okay.
I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud, very proud.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna wait. Did you get that? Did you get it yet?
BAIA. There we go.
There's kind of a lot of them. It took me a while to kind of surf through it.
I'll find the link and make sure that I put it
Into all the various chat room things. Okay.
because
All
I don't
right.
want to put the
So
wrong one in.
we're gonna play our exit video. Hang for a second, and we'll see you all
Next week.
Next week we're gonna be just kind of chit chatting again too. I'll just tell you all about the event that we had and the stuff coming up and things like that. We'll talk about that next week, and maybe we'll pull a few cards for you too.
Yeah.
So ciao for now. Love you, Mama.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love you so much, Rita. Oh my God, thank you. Bye, Onyx.
Now.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests. We stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as all our Anchor FM venues. We hope you enjoyed our show, our guest, and our featured Crystal of the Week segment with Athena Bari, and we would also appreciate it and love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, like, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.